People in the world, what's up? You see my hair going crazy because I had to put the headphones on. Welcome to the channel. I look good any damn way. But just wanted to holler at y'all about that crazy news. I know deep down in all of our hearts, we still are Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson fans. And we love what he did for music and we love what he did in the music business. And it's sad that he died without hearing this kind of news himself. You know what I'm saying? But he definitely was a phenomenon in what he gave. And so people probably been vying for his music for the last 10, 20 years, trying to make sure they got a part of that. Oh, shit. Let's start my other part of this podcast right here. All right, so we starting back over. Wait, I'm not recording yet. All right, bam, hit that button. All right, yo, so we starting back over. Welcome to the podcast. All the people, I know y'all gonna get in here eventually. Even if you check this out on the playback, that's still much love. So I just want to talk to y'all about Michael Jackson. They bought his catalog for $1.2 billion. Sony did. And it's just a great thing for his family. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he had lawyers and everybody else that was a part of making sure that they finalized this deal. I mean, think about it. He's been dead since 2009. It's 2024. That's like 13, 14 years of him just, his family holding on to the actual asset, which is his music, but not really knowing what to do or how to really get it out there. Because if you're not connected to the industry heavyweights, how you going to get the music to the people? I mean, ultimately, that's the objective, is to get the shit in the people's hands. You know, Jackson is a fucking legend. So he been making dope music for decades, and he has a legendary, he actually probably is the biggest, most important artist in the history of music, because who else got a name bigger than Michael Jackson? To me, nobody. And his music lived up to the standard. Now, you know, they did throw the darts at him when he got older and started trying to say he was a molester and all this. Nowhere really proving none of that stuff. But when you in the belly of the beast, as they say, and you or sleeping with the enemy, if you want to call it, they got the goddamn gauntlet on you. What they say is what's legit. So a lot of guys like those Michael Jackson types, they never even came out and really disputed the shit. They had enough money to make campaigns and disputes, but they didn't do that. So let's just talk about what they're saying about this. They're saying right away that the Sony Music Group has confirmed a deal with a rather shocking agreement. This is the New York Times, if I'm not mistaken. Who is this? This Microsoft News. Let me go back though, because I want to make sure I got the right company. Because this was on, this Microsoft News, because this is right on their shit. So anyway, they said Sony acquired his stuff for between 1.2 billion and 1.5 billion, and they saying that's the biggest one in history. They said that Sony is a major stakeholder in the pop icon. They spent an approximately 600 billion to 600 million towards the shares of buying Michael Jackson's estate, his music from his estate. The deal will represent one of the largest music deals in history on asset sales, according to the source, the music business, as well as the industry experts. The new acquisition covers the publishing and the recorded masters. Damn. So that's a lot. Said insiders estimate this could easily amount to the highest sum ever paid to a single deal of an artist asset in the entertainment sector, which is even higher than the 1.2 billion for Queen. You know who Queen is. They did that "We Are the Champions." And this is actually back before a lot of our time, that Michael Jackson then was so impactful. You remember he had music from when he was a child. So that's also going to be in this. I remember he had a song called Ben. That is going to be in here too. It said Michael Jordan got a publishing company called MyJack, and they actually going to have access to that too, which is his personal music catalog. So like, say you make music and you got music that you like. He has a catalog of music that he has, and they want that. Well, I don't know. Maybe they think that's the inspiration behind his genius or something like that. His catalog of music artists that he listened to in his personal life. It says it contains 250 songs. The MyJack catalog holds a treasure trove of music history from Sly and the Family Stone on down. On the other hand, supplementary aspects of timeless classics music are diverse, and legendary artists like Jerry Lee Lewis, Jackie Wilson, Curtis Mayfield, Ray Charles, Percy Sledge, and Dion. The hysteria acquiring high value music catalog has not been untouched by the Sony. Yeah, so it's like they basically been grabbing everybody's shit, in the game of grabbing everybody's shit. Say they said on the other hand, the rights to the work of the American pop singer Bruce Springsteen had previously grabbed a deal for 500 million for his music, and then they say that the other person who sealed the deal was Bob Dylan, and they got his publishing for under 400 million. So you got to think about it. These people are getting heavy amounts of money because you're the singer. So then you will cut the record company, you will cut everybody else they slot, and then you get a crazy amount of money. So then a new trend whereby it's increasingly monetized. Most recently, a $200 million deal was made for Canadian superstar Justin Bieber from a company called Hypnosis Songs Capital. So they saying all these companies is buying up music. They bought up Shakira. This company also bought up Shakira and Timberlake's music. So you see it's a money run when it comes to the music world. People are making sure that they getting in where they fit in, and they making sure that they get the money from what's coming down the pipeline. So, it's happening. Hey, thanks for reminding me to smoke, Brooke. I just looked at that. I'm sitting up here talking. You got Cookie on there. You know it's happening. And shout out to Ningayun, whatever, my brother name. We got hello to you, and we got a Snoop. I don't know what's up with Snoop, bro. I don't know the industry info like that on his personal shit, but I do know that that's what's going on with my man Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson can't live to see this. That's really the sad part about it. But I think one of these guys got a TikTok going on about this. Let me see if he got some information. How you click this is right here. It's real quick, though, so let's listen up. Oh, damn, I clicked past this shit. I don't know how to. It's actually looking like you could just hit the audio, but when you click it, it's something different. Let's see what else they saying. Okay, so let's just go to YouTube. That's why these companies ain't fucking YouTube. So, but my man's just said something about it right here, man, in case y'all don't know what's up with urban politicians. On YouTube, he always got the information on different things that's happening and shit like that. So, but it's gonna make his family rich. I think his mother's still alive too. I think Michael Jackson's mother's still alive, so that's gonna make her feel good to know that her son still is making an impact. You know how he was killed early in life; he was in his late 50s, but that's massively young when you think about the story of life. People are dying in a way older ages, not 50s, nothing. So let's see what he got to say.
Music. Michael Jackson's 1979 album Off the Wall has sold over 20 million albums worldwide. His 1982 album Thriller sold 70 million albums worldwide. Add in concert revenue and merchandising, and Jackson was easily worth over $100 million by 1985
Damn.
when this happened. The ATV music catalog went up for sale in September 1984. 1 year later, Jackson closed the deal for $47.5
He bought his own
million.
shit.
ATV owned the publishing company that had the rights to the entire Lennon and McCartney catalog. It's believed that in 1995, Sony purchased a 50% stake in the catalog for $110 million.
That ain't no money.
Providing Jackson with a quick payday of $62.5 million, but also allowing him half control of an asset worth $220 million. Sony ultimately paid $750 million
Wow.
for Jackson's 50% stake in 2016. Jackson's $47.5 million
That's crazy.
investment turned into an $800 million profit and the claim of owning the Beatles' music for a couple decades.
You hear that? He owned the Beatles music for 20 years. For about a couple of decades, he owned the Beatles shit. He bought it in like the 80s. And ATV basically was a publishing company that owned these guys publishing. And so Michael Jackson, being a businessman, a shrewd businessman, he knew about it, he heard about it, he bought that shit. Then Sony, knowing about it, that he bought it, they went and offered him $100 million. He sold half of it for $100 million. And then they all sold it together in 2016, which profited his family $800 million. So if they made $800 million from the product, and then he still got ownership, so he could sell that for a profit. What's a profit of $800 million? 1.2 million. Billion, I'm sorry, 1.2 billion. So he, from having an $800 million stake in a property that he could sell at any time, he sold it for 1.2 billion. But you do know money go fast. So selling that property could be, Like investments be shitty. If you give up all of Michael Jackson's assets, then what about the family? What they gonna have in the future? But you gonna try to buy a bunch of KFCs and shit? You gonna buy a bunch of chicken wing sandwiches? Like what the fuck you gonna do to make money? That's like a generational wealth thing.
Breakdown that happened with him and the Beatles and how he acquired their catalog.
See what urban politicians saying.
And Spencer Cornelia does a lot of deep dives on different aspects in business and all types of conversations on his YouTube channel. So I had a link in the description where you can watch that in full. That was just a short right there. Now, what makes this conversation here entertaining, they getting half of it, but a lot of people don't even know that Michael Jackson owned half of Sony ATV. He had acquired so many catalogs.
That's crazy.
It had so much value, and he was ahead of the curve when it came to business.
Why they got rid of that guy, man? He was too smart.
Even when he brought Beatles from having a conversation with Paul McCartney.
So the story behind that is a story saying that Michael Jackson had a conversation with Paul McCartney. In that conversation, the conversation ended up being where Paul McCartney said he wanted to borrow money from Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson said, how much? He said, 40, 50 million. I want to buy my catalog from this company. So Michael Jackson had the money, but he didn't loan it to him. He went to the company and bought the catalog. So then he owned it. And from that point on, Paul McCartney wouldn't be Michael Jackson's friend no more. They started because, that was kind of like a snake deal a little bit. Not a little bit, it was. But Michael Jackson had the money, so he didn't have to loan it to him. He just bought it himself. And that ownership allowed him to leverage the ownership of that motherfucking company. Now, Paul McCartney's still alive today, and Michael Jackson's dead. And Paul McCartney ultimately got to $1 billion because this is just what, his music, being an artist, being one of the Beatles, that happened for him. But he don't have the assets of his ownership. So people, imagine this, you're a billionaire and you can't buy your thing because other people are holding it and won't sell it back to you. And you like, damn, that's what happened with Taylor Swift. That's why she went and made her own music over. So Michael Jackson family getting 1.2 billion, that's a great thing for their family. But the question still remains, do they still own anything inside Michael Jackson's repertoire? Did they give it all up? Do they still have the right to drop music in the future if they do have some of his stuff? Can they use his brand? Can they use the name to sell products? It's a lot of questions that his lawyers would still they're not going to probably disclose all that. And then what bigger company than Sony to do all these things? So it's not like you want to really compete with them because technically they also own the rights to his music shirts and jackets and merchandise. So that means they're going to be competing with you. So you might as well kind of stay in sync with them because they got billions of dollars to spend. Sony is an Asian company, like Chinese or something like that. So they got money to be spending. You know what I'm saying? They obviously got offices in America, but that's Sony. They do more than just music. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something I want to holler at y'all about and see what y'all thought about that. Michael Jackson giving up getting 1.2 billion for the ownership of his stuff, and it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money for a person that's not even alive. And then think about his family members. How are they gonna really continue to? Does the mother divvy that up with the other brothers and sisters? Do they keep all that money in a trust? Like, how the fuck do you get 1.2 billion dollars? And who do you have to pay? Because that's some hellified lawyers that's on that case. That's like, yo, we got 1.2 billion. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. We paid. You know what I'm saying? So that's a 33 and a third because I'm sure their lawyers didn't get. I mean, they so rich they could have paid their lawyers straight out and just be like, give me your fees. We're gonna pay you. You ain't getting none of this 1.2 billion, whatever the payment is going to be. But then some lawyers get a percentage of the deal. So if it's a deal that they're in charge of, then it's 5% for me. So 5% of $1 billion, I'm sure that's still a lot of damn money. You know what I'm saying? So what y'all think about Michael Jackson dying early and then finally getting to that $1 billion officially? Because if he would have been alive, that money would have been higher because he still could go on tour. See, that's what another thing that happened. He's dead, but he can't tour no more. So now only people going to be touring is like impersonators and shit like that. Not the real deal. But people fuck with that. I remember being a kid. It was a guy named Cypherlot. That was his real name. He was a Michael Jackson impersonator. And I'm a kid. I'm talking about 16, 17. So I was all like, what is dude doing? That ain't how the little dudes kicking around my hood. But believe me, he was cold at the moves, and I used to be in the damn crowd dancing to it. I'm like, damn, this nigga is just too good. He really was a fucking dope-ass Michael. I was so young, I thought he walked around the world like that. I thought he lived like that. So I remember the one time I saw him outside the Michael Jackson outfit as a kid. I was like, damn, okay, so he is a regular dude. My ass thinking impersonated me, they walk around like that every day, all day. But no, he was a regular person. But he did come up to the theater and he would do the shit, and it was funny and cold. It was fun to see it and all. I was a kid, I loved it. So let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna dive back on here in a little bit with a new subject matter. Y'all got the gist of the understanding, and we appreciate y'all watching. Kick it with your boy in a minute.